Coming up next is Dr. Kimberly Taylor. Here's your chance to talk about what matters to you. Although you will receive helpful advice from Dr. Taylor, remember, this is not to be construed as a form of psychotherapy, diagnosis, or treatment, and cannot replace a therapeutic relationship with a mental health professional. You can reach Dr. Taylor by calling 564-1290 or toll free at 866-564-1290. You can also listen live on the internet at drkimtaylorshow.com. So here now is Dr. Kimberly Taylor.
Everywhere you go today, people are trying to get motivated to make a change. So why does it seem to be so challenging to make the changes in our lives that we know we need to do in order to create the life we say we want? Motivation is literally the desire to do things. But even if we desire something, it still takes a lot of work and effort to attain our goals. So I have a question for you today. Do you use your energy to bring about productive change? Or do you use it in self-defeating patterns that keep you feeling stuck in your life? And in fact, are you in such a slump that even thinking about making positive changes seems way too difficult? Motivation, or the lack thereof, is the crucial element in setting and attaining goals. And our research shows we can all influence our own levels of motivation and self-control. Some people can get up every morning. They work out, they eat well, they can be healthy, they handle stress, they seem to get lots of sleep, while the rest of us can't find the energy to walk to the mailbox and pick up the mail. So what gives? Well, it's not hopeless, and with some small steps, baby ones in fact, you too can get started down the road to positive change. Yeah, I know, sometimes it seems impossible at times because you don't feel like doing anything. I've been there. And in fact, I still feel that way from time to time. So you're not alone. But I have learned that there are a few ways to break out of a slump. And we're going to be looking at those today, along with my guest. The lack of motivation is a difficult problem because there can be many factors that contribute to it. And in order to be motivated, you first have to pick something that you want more than not doing it. But the problem with that is that when you're low on the willpower needed to start a particular task, your energy generally gets rerouted to indulge in something effortless, like food or entertainment, something that satisfies the instant gratification button. So, what do? Well, first we need to pinpoint what's causing your lack of motivation, and then we need to find ways that you can trick yourself into getting it back. Today, we are going to be talking about how to get motivated and stay motivated. And I have with me a holistic health practitioner and a personal trainer who will share his experience and help us understand the underpinnings of motivation. So if you have a question today and would like to call in, we're going to be here for the next hour. You can also email me your questions at drkim@drkimtaylorshow.com. So stay with me during the break, and I'm going to be right back with my guests to get you moving towards your goal. You can call me at 564-1290 or toll free at 866-564-1290. I'm Kimberly Taylor, and you're listening to KZSB AM 1290.
You are listening to Dr. Kimberly Taylor. You can reach her by calling 564-1290 or toll free at 866-564-1290.
I am here, and I would like to welcome my guest, Dave Rasili. Hi, Dave.
Good afternoon.
First, what I'd like to tell people is who you are. You are a holistic health practitioner and corrective exercise specialist, which means that you integrate the spirit, the mind, with the body. Why don't you tell us about the CHEK Institute and tell us about what you do with that?
Yeah, the CHEK Institute is a world-renowned institute outside of Carlsbad, California, and it was originated by Paul Chek roughly 25, 30 years ago. And what he did was he put together a fully integrated approach, a holistic approach to helping people heal their bodies. So it's a full encompassing approach physically, mentally, and emotionally and spiritually. So yes, it's things like rehabilitation and corrective exercise and strength training, and then we also get into a very deep level of nutrition and what's going on with the organ systems in the body, your digestive system, your immune system, your cardiorespiratory system, your nervous system. And then we look also at the spiritual and emotional aspects of each person and their mental outlook. Because everybody needs to know that they are fully integrated beings, this idea of, again, a spirit having a physical experience in this life. And so when you start understanding this hierarchy of actual spirit, mind, and body, then you can start making big changes in your life as opposed to just working on the physical level, which we are all obviously so used to living in.
Part of what you have done is work as a personal trainer as well as dealing with yoga, Pilates, meditation, martial arts. So you have a wide range of background that you bring to this also.
Yeah, and that's part of what's really fascinating is to be able to work at all these different levels with people. So when I work with a client, it's really based on the level that they're at, and then we have to look at the goals that they want to achieve. And then also when I'm working with them, we're actually figuring out what are the challenges that they're actually having that they're unaware of. They could be physical challenges. So let's say they have lower back issues, but they don't also realize that they have other issues going up and down their spine, or neurologically things are happening. And then we have to look at, again, their nutrition and how that affects everything. So, again, it's this idea of a fully integrated approach. So a lot of times, very quickly, I'll talk about this, somebody might be having back pain, and yes, physically they're feeling it in their lower back, but it doesn't mean that that's where it's actually stemming from. That's where they're feeling it. But if somebody's having, and you understand this as a therapist, that if people are having, or if this person is having a serious emotional issue, that can cause a feeling of, or a lack of safety and security in their life. Well, your body manifests through your emotions, and then through your body manifests these feelings of lack of safety and security. And so you will feel that somewhere in your body, and a lot of times that ends up being through your pelvic region, your lower back, etc.
So as we're going to be talking about how to get people motivated, that we really want to talk about the challenges that people have. They may be physical, but there can also be a lot of other factors.
Absolutely.
So why does it seem to be so challenging to make the changes that we know will help us and the ones that we truly want, but what makes it so hard to get there?
Yeah, and this is, I get really excited about it. This is very, very fascinating, so you'll have to excuse my excitement about this, but we all of us have these past experiences that have shaped our beliefs of who we are. And what we have to understand is that this is at a very deep internal, in our subconscious level. This is a blueprint, these belief systems that really tell us who we are or who we've accepted ourselves to be. So when we begin to make these changes in our lives, so we're talking about staying motivated, and in this case we're talking about exercise and healthy living, but it could be anything. It could be moving into a new career, or moving into a new relationship with somebody, or moving out of a relationship with somebody. These changes that we're making are something new in our life, but the challenge is that we have these old, what we call paradigms, which is just a belief system really, based on what we're talking about, that are guiding us through. So when we start making changes from that old belief system, those paradigms, we can have these feelings that come up that make it very uncomfortable. And I know we've all dealt with that. I mean, just think about, well, oh my gosh, let's just take moving on into a new career. It can be very exciting. You could be making more money. It could be the career that you've absolutely wanted in your life. But challenge is all of a sudden you start getting this anxiety about it, and you're saying, well, why am I getting anxious about something that is now what I've always wanted in my life? I know how to do it, I'm ready for it, I'm excited for it, but I still have all this angst and anxiety that's building up in my body, and that is because your old paradigm of who you actually feel yourself to be up until this point is saying, no, that's not who we are. You're asking me to be something else. I don't know what that is yet. So those paradigms are trying to hold us in check, in a sense. So we have to understand that. When we can start understanding that, we can start making changes without letting those sabotaging behaviors, that procrastination, without letting those get in our way. We can acknowledge that they're there and understand now why they're there. Because those old ingrained ways of thinking, which are in our subconscious, it's very deep, are so present, again, that when you try to step into a new role, whatever it is, it gets very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we feel that resistance to change. And I know that sounds familiar for everybody here. So when you start a new path, for instance, of eating better or exercise, just remember that those old patterns of the way you used to eat, the way you used to either exercise or not exercise, the way you were living your life, are going to keep trying to come back into your life because they're saying, well, that's who I remember being, even though you might not want to be that anymore. So that's part of that idea.
So part of this can also be that whatever goal you have, it might be that you want to seek out a new job or you have some goal that you're trying to reach. But a lot of the fear is also about feeling unworthy, that you don't deserve it or that you're not going to be good at it. And it's also that fear that keeps you back, correct?
Yeah, for sure. And those are deeper emotional issues. But, okay, so you want to make these changes for the better. You're ready to do it. You're ready to start a new exercise program. You want to start eating better. You just want to increase your health and your wellness. You want to have a better relationship with your husband, your wife. You want to have a better career that you're already in, but you want to make more of it. No matter how much you try, though, these feelings of unworthiness, this fear of failure creeps in. You start having doubts about your ability to do this. And not only that do you feel that on an emotional level, but you actually feel it physically. Because as we said, your emotions will manifest physically, viscerally in your body. So your organ systems create these energies within your body, this feeling of, well, for instance, look, if you feel really happy, where do you feel it? And you feel in love. You feel it in your heart. You feel it in your chest. When you feel nervous and anxious or fearful, where do you feel it? You feel it in your gut. These are the organ systems that are actually radiating these visceral feelings of happiness, fear, doubt, anxiety, exhilaration. And so recognizing, again, that these thoughts and these feelings that are coming up are just part of the process of you moving forward. That's a really big step for anyone to start recognizing that.
So it's just the first step. It's not supposed to be the stopping place.
Oh, my goodness, no. This is, and everything we're going to talk about today, just as everything in life, is a process.
Mm-hmm.
It's a step-by-step way of moving you forward, hopefully, and not backwards, moving you forward into what you want to become, what you want to create in your life, as opposed to what you don't. But it's an important understanding that everybody grabs right now, that this works in both directions. So you can either step up into what you want to become, or you can allow these belief systems, these feelings of unworthiness and fear, failure, etc., to overtake you. And if you allow that to happen, that's what you're going to bring into your life. And that's where most people get stuck.
Mm-hmm. So the first thing would be that we have to own that feeling. We have to own those fears. And then we have to take responsibility.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. That one word comes with so much fear and angst and anxiety for most people because, look, I'm going to be honest, I don't want any more responsibility than I already have. I mean, it can get overwhelming. We already have our wife, our husband, our children, our job, our boss. We have responsibilities of taking care of all of our bills that we have to pay. So responsibility in a lot of ways, when people say that, it's like, oh, my gosh, it's just one more thing I have to take on. But we're looking at it the wrong way. And the way I want people to start thinking about this is that responsibility is actually the key to your freedom. It's the key to your happiness. It's the key to your health, to your wellness, to your wealth. So in the Western world, we have really been conditioned to feel that we should be taken care of. I know that sounds frustrating, especially as adults, but as we grow up as children, we have our parents that take care of us. And then when our parents aren't taking care of us, we are learned that as long as we pay our taxes and, for instance, we have or pay for health insurance, that no matter what happens, there's going to be a net that will catch us somehow, right? Or we have Social Security, or we have unemployment that will be there to catch us. So a lot of times we feel like we have this backup plan that we don't have to really think about as long as we're paying into it, but it's a false sense of security. And what we're doing is we're actually giving away our power to a select few people who get to make these choices supposedly for us to protect us, but they're not really protecting us. And so we've all seen the state of the health, not only in our nation now, but it's across the entire globe. We are not a healthy race of people anymore. and this is not a good thing. Yet we don't want to accept responsibility. We don't want to embrace this God-given ability that we have, and that is this responsibility. And responsibility, in my view, in its truest definition, in its truest sense, is a gift. It is the gift that we have. It is the ability that we have to respond at every given moment to anything that we want to create in life. So responsibility is that ability to respond. And that is completely up to us, no one else. So stepping into that ability to respond is taking our power back. It's actually, yes, taking responsibility for our life, but it's actually taking back the power that we have to create that loving relationship.
That's right. So that you stop giving it away, that you find your power within the choices that you can make.
Exactly.
Okay, so it seems that most people can really start off and get motivated to do something, but then something starts to happen where they start to slip backwards. What's going on? What happens to all that goodwill?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is very common. We see it all the time when we go into, right after New Year's, when everybody makes their New Year's resolutions, and for the first...
Me too.
Yeah, 5 to 8 weeks or so, or not even, I should say, 5 to 8 weeks. Most people are in the gyms, they're up there, they're working out like crazy, they're going like gangbusters, they're focused, this year they're going to do it. They start off really good, they even start seeing some progress. They start feeling a little healthier, they start losing some weight, they're eating really good, they're feeling motivated about themselves. And even their friends start to say, wow, it's amazing, I can't believe you're actually doing it this time. And then something begins to happen, and they start to slip backwards. They start taking in more food than they should, or they start going back to their old ways of whatever it is, eating too late at night, or they're not drinking enough water, or they're going off that path of health and wellness.
Mm-hmm.
And that dedication begins to falter. And that drive, that focus that they had starts to float away, and these folks start moving back again into that old paradigm that we talked about. They start becoming the person that they were 5-6 weeks ago before they started this. And we all hear these perfectly good excuses. I've had many of them myself where we say, I just don't have the time. My work is taking up too much time for me to do this, or I don't have the energy, or I don't have the money. It's all very disheartening when we're saying these excuses, but to anybody else we say them to, they say, well, of course, that's a perfectly good excuse. I get that. I don't have enough time either, so don't bother. It's okay. You're perfect just the way you are.
So what is the first step? I mean, what can we do to change this feeling of being lazy or unmotivated? How can we stop all of this?
Yeah, and again, this is a process, but again, the first thing we want to do is we need to start acknowledging that we're having these thoughts. We have to start recognizing that we're having these thoughts. The second thing is to come to the understanding, and I know we're talking about this briefly, but come to the understanding that the reason you're having these thoughts is because of these paradigms that you're holding within your subconscious. So your subconscious and what you're holding there is what we can call your self-image. So your self-image is really what you truly believe yourself to be at a very deep level. So, for instance, a lot of times people will do something, and then you'll ask them, or they'll even ask themselves, why do I keep doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll actually say, I don't know why I keep doing that. They absolutely, and it's very true, they don't, because it's at such a deep level in their subconscious
that it just seems normal to them. It's automatic.
They say, I don't know, that's just who I am, and they feel they have no ability to change that. But actually the truth is that you have all the ability in the world. That is again the ability to respond now. So you're understanding, okay, the reason I'm not doing what I know I truly want to do, make those changes in my life, whatever they may be, the reason I'm not doing that is because I have this old paradigm or belief system of how I actually feel or know myself to be.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what's important. Please, everybody, grasp this. No matter where you are right now in your life, no matter what your past relationships, your past life has been since you were a child, no matter what possible terrible things that could or have happened to you, you've already paid for all that. You've already lived it. You do not need to move forward and live any of that anymore. It does not need to affect you from this point on. But that first understanding is realize that that's just an old paradigm, and now you want to step up into that responsibility of saying, I have the power. I'm going to take back my power, And I'm going to start changing that. And I'm going to start deciding what it is that I truly want to be now for me. Not for my parents, not for my wife or husband, not for my children. Who do I want to be for me? And that's when you really need to sit down and get quiet with yourself and start really looking deep within and saying, what is it that I truly, and who is it that I truly want to become now from this very moment forward?
Okay. So that's a really good place right now to just take a break, because we're going to come back and find out exactly how to do that. We'll be right back after the break. I'm Kimberly Taylor, and you're listening to KZSB AM 1290.
You are listening to Dr. Kimberly Taylor. You can reach her by calling 564-1290 or toll-free at 866-564-1290.
We are here talking about trying to get past our fears to move forward, to try to create the kind of life that we want. And I have a guest with me. His name is Dave Rasili, and he has quite an extensive background helping people to work through all of their roadblocks in order to help them lead a happier and healthier life. So, Dave, let's kind of jump to a question I've been thinking about here. You've been talking quite a bit about how we limit ourselves and how a lot of our fears from the past kind of creep in. So how do we get past those limiting beliefs?
Okay, so I want you to think of yourself as a train locomotive. So you have this huge engine that can pull massive amounts of boxcars, or you have the potential to. You have this engine within you. So you as a person, as an integrated being, we're going to call that engine your mind, because your mind has limitless potentials to create thoughts, and then from those thoughts you create feelings, and then through those feelings you'll motivate yourself into manifesting what you want in your life. So you're going along as this locomotive, and things seem to be getting better and better. Your self-confidence is growing. You're feeling so much better about yourself and what you're creating in your life, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, a boulder is thrown into your path. You've been moving along perfectly well, and this boulder just gets thrown right into your path there. And you can't see a way around it because you're just focused on moving forward. So you start kind of hitting into this boulder, and then all of a sudden you start feeling these feelings again of unworthiness or not knowing how to get around it, and your confidence begins to waver. Your thoughts begin to fall back into that unworthiness and your fear of failure. You can't see beyond the boulder. It's all consuming, and you're really starting to fall back into that old process. And you stop. And it doesn't matter what that boulder is. It could be that you lost your job, your spouse decides to take a break from you, or you get some bad news about a close friend, or we just got through tax season. Maybe you just found out that now you're going to have to pay 4 years' worth of back taxes. Nobody wants to have to deal with that. But whatever it is, it's this boulder. It's not the occurrence that's determining whether you're stopping in this progress. It's actually the limiting beliefs that are causing it, and how your perception of what that is. So you have to realize, again, that the subconscious creates the conditions it believes itself to be. Again, that self-image of who you think you are. Mm-hmm. And you're doing this through your thoughts and feelings. So the stronger you feel about something, the more you implant it into your subconscious until it becomes second nature. It becomes your natural state of being. You don't even think about who you are. You're just being this person. You don't have to think about being unworthy when you're this way. You just go about your day emanating unworthiness. Or if you've motivated yourself to now become this very positive, loving, warm, happy person, you don't think that you walk around being positive, warm, and happy. You just are. So the key to understanding all this, again, is that the subconscious mind only knows what you tell it. And you're telling your subconscious mind by how you feel about something and the thoughts you're having when you feel that. So if you get very emotionally involved in a thought, so let's say I want to get there. My goal is to just have the most amazing relationship with the woman in my life. And maybe it's not doing so well right now. Well, if I continue thinking that, it's not going to get any better. But if I start changing how I feel about her and how much I love her and how much I want to bring myself into this relationship, and I truly start feeling myself to be that person, then the entire relationship starts to change towards that, because it has no choice. As I believe myself to be, I will become that person. Now, in the best sense of the word, you're brainwashing yourself in the best sense. And this is good to know, because For many, that may seem silly, but in fact, it's how you create what you want in life. Whatever you're wanting, if it's to increase your health and wellness, heal your body, if you want to train for some kind of race, you want to lose some weight, you want to go back to school, start a new career, it doesn't matter. The most effective way you're going to do this is to get clear on what it is that you want, that desire, and then begin to condition your mind to believe that you're already living it, you're already being it. You see yourself already, in this case, the example I was giving, I have to see myself already loving this woman with all my heart and soul and feeling this just feeling of deep love within myself. And what will happen is my brain, my subconscious, not my brain, but my mind, my subconscious will start to believe that to be true. And when your subconscious starts to believe that to be true, you change your entire self-image to be exactly that.
Okay, so you were really talking about that it isn't so much the problem that you need to focus on. It's really how you're going to respond to that, and that is really what will matter in you being able to keep going and keep moving forward toward your goal. And I was also thinking in this that so when people lack this kind of motivation, it's really a lack of belief in oneself.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And this gets a little spiritual in a sense, but this is really important. I can't drive this home deep enough for people. We have to really start understanding our potential, our power. You are this amazing, amazing, amazing godness. You are the universal energy, if you want to think of it that way. You are source energy. You are spirit. That is what you are first and foremost. That is the greater percentage of who you are. And you're having this physical experience. We have to start understanding that is who we are and really start claiming the potential that we have, the power that we have to create what we want in life. So again, this lack of believing in yourself, as you had said, is exactly what we're talking about here. Because once you start to believe yourself to be greater than your circumstances, and so by your circumstances, I'm literally talking about the life you're living right now. The money that you're making, the relationships that you're in, your health and wellness or lack thereof, everything in your physical world are just the conditions of who you believe yourself to be at this point. But when you start to believe that you actually have the ability and the potential within you of this greater power to create who you truly want to be, then your life changes. Mm-hmm. And that's part of a responsibility, or the responsibility, of embracing and accepting who you truly are, because most of us walk around thinking we're not good enough, we're not strong enough, we don't have the ability to be who we really want to be. And I can only tell you that that is so false. It's a nightmare that most of us live in. And we have to wake up from that and start really embracing who we are.
So we're talking about changing from one mindset, which is how I call it, into a brand new mindset. And that means we have to be able to develop some pathways to get there.
Yeah.
So let's take a quick break now, and we'll come right back and talk about that aspect of change. I'm Kimberly Taylor, and you're listening to KZSB AM 1290.
You are listening to Dr. Kimberly Taylor. You can reach her by calling 564-1290 or toll-free at 866-564-1290.
We are talking about how to get your mojo, or to keep it and to keep going and to reach your goals. So I have with me Dave Rasili, who is a holistic health practitioner, and he helps people to move through their roadblocks to get them to the goals that they set for themselves. So Dave, I have an email here. I'm wondering if you'd like to hear this and see what you have to say about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It says, I have been on a 5-year journey to become a licensed marriage and family therapist. I have loved the process and have maintained a level of commitment and excitement until recently. As I am approaching the final stage, which is to pass the state exams, I'm finding myself losing steam and have very little motivation to study and to complete the final stage of my journey. I think that part of my apathy is grieving the loss of my mother last year. However, I do want to complete this journey, but cannot find the motivation to do what I need to do, so I don't do it. Help.
Okay, so you're on this journey, you're very motivated, you've been doing an amazing job, by the way, and then you have a big emotional issue, and look at how close it strikes to home. It was your mom. So that can throw anybody off. That's one of those boulders. Now, there's certainly, and being a therapist, you're already well on your way to understanding what's going on. The idea is this. We need to connect and reconnect back with the original dream of why you want to be a therapist. That has to be the big, big goal, the big picture. That has to be something exciting for you. A lot of times when we start moving through this, and you've been going for quite some time now through your schooling with this, we do start to wane a little. It becomes, well, we start to say, I'm just about done with it now, and I'm really getting to the point where I have to step out into the real world as a therapist. Now I have to come into my own. There's no more learning about this. There's actual doing. So part of what you might want to do is sit down and actually ask yourself very gently, what am I truly afraid of? What is the fear that's causing me to wane in my motivation of continuing on? Now, certainly the challenge that you had with your mom is an emotional issue that you might also want to seek guidance with. But at the same time, I would suggest reconnect again with the reason why you started doing this, and start connecting with the joy of what it's going to bring into your life and who you want to be as a person, and let that be that guiding force in your life. And again, it's a very challenging emotional issue that can come up with family members. But having said that, you are here for a purpose, and you are here to move into your life to be a joyous person who is doing the things that they love to do. And if this is something that you truly want to do, you want to go within that, find that deeper connection again with it, and start projecting that forward into your life. Become that therapist already. Become the person that you want to be. And from there, on a day-to-day basis, and you need to do what we would call visualizing, and we have to get into this process a little deeper, but this idea of really understanding who it is that you want to be and finding the joy within that and feeling that, deeply feeling what it is to be that therapist, already working in your own practice, feeling amazing about it, and that will move you through, because you can, again, only become that which you know yourself to be.
Mm-hmm. And I think that what I would add to that, too, is that I think we all doubt ourselves, and that when we get closest to the goal, it really starts to come up again. So we've been working on trying to process our fears step by step, but when we get closest to the goal, it's almost like this force that starts to happen, that we want it, but we also resist it. And it's as if we have to meet this final challenge of facing our fear finally for the last time about, do we really think that we can do this?
Right.
So that we can then move into that dream that we have or that goal that we have. So the fear is there, and it's always going to be there, but it's what you do with it. And maybe for the last time being able to say, yes, this is what I want, so that you can move past that and finish your state exams.
Yes, and exactly as you said. So you get towards the end of your goal, and all of a sudden this fear comes up of, can I really do this?
Mm-hmm. Which has always been there, but now you have to face it one more time, because now it gets really real.
And that's exactly it, because now you're going to step into being something that you still aren't sure you are. So again, it's the old paradigm, it's the old self-image that's coming up just one more time saying, wait a minute, I just thought all this school stuff was just something we were going through. You mean I really have to become this person? That's not who I am. I don't know what that means. So that's why that fear comes up. So again, recognize that, and then you can say, so I'll give a quick example. This is the way I look at these things, because I know we don't have a lot of time. But when that kind of stuff comes up, I think of those thoughts, those fears of unworthiness, fear, doubt, whatever it may be, as little children who don't know any better. They're just so attached to their parent that when the parent says, go ahead, it's okay, you can run across the grass over there, and they're like, no, I don't know what that's like over there. As long as you're with your parent, you feel okay, and you'll walk across the grass. But when you have to do it on your own, when you have to step outside of that comfort zone, That comfort zone is the old paradigm saying, well, I know exactly who I am here. But when you have to step out of that and become this new person, that's when the old paradigm starts saying, no, that's not who I know myself to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to make you feel this fear, this anxiety, this worry. But if you continually condition yourself, again, by visualizing and feeling the feelings of already being this very successful therapist, enjoying it, you picture yourself in your office exactly the way it should look like in your wildest dreams, and working with the best clients that you want, and the joy that you get from that, if you see yourself as that, then that will be ingrained into your subconscious, and you will very quickly move right through this without even an issue.
Mm-hmm. So really that the biggest block for most of us is really being willing to let go of those old rules, those old thoughts, those old fears.
That is exactly what it is. It is my old algebra teacher, Mr. Lambert, in high school, because I was terrible in math, and I would have to go to him so frustrated, saying, I don't understand this, and he'd say, David, it is so simple, it's slippery. And that's exactly the way it is. The way you create anything in your life is so simple. It truly, truly is simple, but it's slippery because we were never taught how to do this. The slipperiness of it is the old paradigms keep coming into the mix. The simpleness of it is if we truly just focus on being the person we want to be, then that's what we'll create in your life.
And you have to do that over and over, and
over.
Each time it comes up, right?
That's exactly it. It is a process. It truly is, in a sense, no different than trying to train a dog to do a trick. The first time you do it, if you say roll over and you kind of physically roll the dog over, do you really expect the dog to remember that the first time? No, you have to do it again, and you have to do it again, and every time you do it, you go, excellent, very good. Mm-hmm. So you can think of your mind, in a sense, as a dog learning a new trick. And here's what's really interesting, because people are so hard on themselves, and I know I'm going along here. As an infant, a parent looks at an infant. Does the parent just say stand up and walk? No, he knows it has to go through that time to figure out how to stand up and fall down, stand up and fall down, stand up and fall down, and then they stand up and they walk a little, they fall down. We expect that time, that gestation period of that child to learn how to do that, and that's the way we have to give ourselves that time.
Mm-hmm. And we have to give ourselves the chance to fail along the way, too, and still pick ourselves back up.
And that's exactly what that is. Mm-hmm. Just because you, as an infant, you fall down, the parent doesn't go, you got to be kidding me.
You failed.
Are you serious? Get up.
Right.
No, you say, oh, it's okay. Just stand, and you hold your finger out, and they grab your finger, and you kind of let them stand up on their own, and they're literally strengthening the entire muscles throughout the body, the leg muscles, all the way up through the spine, and the nervous system is learning how to coordinate all that. It's the same thing you're doing. You're learning how to condition your mind, to condition your body, to create the experiences that you want in life. It's no different.
Is it really true that I have to do this for myself, that there isn't someone else who could do those push-ups for me, who could make it better for me, who could make it easier for me?
Yeah, it would be lovely in a sense to say that, but here's the golden egg for everyone. You don't want anybody to do this for you.
I don't?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
I don't know, but
I know.
Go on.
You truly do not, because you know that everything that you do in life, when you achieve it, comes with such a feeling of accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And when part of life is learning, this is part of a growth process in everything in life, is learning your potential, is developing your potential. This is part of the process of being human, of learning how to take this amazing body, this amazing mind, and using this incredible power that you are, the spirit that you are, and integrating it into this entire experience that you and only you alone can decide. No one else can decide how to live your life, no matter what. It is completely up to you. There might be things that come up that might be factors in possibly directing you, but it is truly, on a moment-by-moment basis, your choice. That is called free will. And you have the free will to think and do and create what you want in your life. And that is a gift. Mm-hmm. And that is freedom. And we have to start looking at these challenges, or these so-called challenges in our life, of things that we would say, I'd rather have somebody do this for me. as a gift, because when we accept the responsibility, and in this case we're talking about health and wellness, but it could be anything in your life,
and any goal,
and any goal in your life, when you step forward into that and take responsibility, you take and appreciate that gift that you can respond, you then become a deeper, bigger, better person on every level. And that is part of this joyous journey that you're here in life, on this planet, to do.
Well, and I think that is definitely where our self-esteem comes from, that we try to get it from a lot of other people or things, but that's called other esteem. Self-esteem is self-esteem for a reason. You have to give it to yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay. So is there something else that you would like to share that you just feel like we need to hear prior to closing?
Yeah, and this is truly from the heart. No matter where anyone is in their life right now, no matter how challenging it is, no matter what has happened to you in your past, I truly, truly, truly need you to understand that you have the power to change your life. I know that can be very overwhelming for some people in the situations they might be dealing with, because it seems like everybody is stopping you from being or doing what you want. But this is not true. You have to just take the knowledge and use it and practice it and start to understand that no matter what is going on with your life, you have the ability through your consciousness and then developing it into your subconscious to create what you want. Yes, it takes time, but this is why we have this life on earth, is to experience this. Condition yourself. Decide what it is that you truly want to be, what you truly want to have, what you truly want to experience, what you truly want your body to feel and radiate. Write it down. Just don't think about it. You have to write it down and give yourself time to really get clear and focused on what it is. And then from there, you want to start taking time every day to visualize yourself already being it, having it, living it, with as much deep, joyful emotion that you can muster. And the more you do this, the more you will start conditioning your subconscious to believing it's true. And in the beginning, you're going to go, oh, that's just crap. And that's part of the process, because what's saying that's just crap, or I'm not worthy, or I'm fearful of becoming that person, is just the old paradigm. It is your old self-image saying, I'm afraid to go there. But you being a adult, thinking, capable person can also say, I understand that that's what's happening, the old paradigm, and I do not have to let that stop me from becoming the person I want to become. Your mind is amazing.
Yeah.
You are full of potential, limitless potential, and you're not using what you have. So why not learn how to do this so that you can serve and create the desires that you want to create in life, and stop listening to your limiting beliefs. They'll be there, but start learning how to stop listening to them and start listening to the desires that you truly want. And if you're having challenges with that, and it's certainly okay, I would love to help you with that.
Okay, and tell us how they can reach you.
Okay, so the easiest way to reach me is to go to the website, and the website is www.holistichealth-fitness.com. So holistic health is one word, holistichealth-fitness.com. You can also, once you get there, I have a Facebook page you can go to, and I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn, and I'll even give you my phone number, and that's 541-941-8800. So you can email me, you can call me, you can find me on Facebook and leave comments, and I'll be more than happy to help you along this path. So there's so much that we can do to work together if you want.
Okay, Dave, thanks very much. It was great to have you, and I hope that we can have you on again. We'll be right back with the closing comments. I'm Kimberly Taylor, and you're listening to KZSB AM 1290. So I do hope that you decide that you are worth it, that you do believe in yourself. And the worst thing that you can do is to give up and to give in to these old thoughts, these old fears that you are unworthy or lazy or that you can't change. As a dear friend said to me once, never give up, never give up, never give up. And especially, never give up on yourself. I really want to thank Dave Rasili for being with us, and I do hope that he can come back and talk to us more about this. I will post all of his info on my website, so you can also reach him there just by going to drkimtaylorshow.com. So thank you for joining me, and I welcome all your comments. You can email me at drkim@drkimtaylorshow.com. I will be back next Thursday between 2 and 3, and in the meantime, have a great week, and let me leave you with this thought. Nobody else has to change in order for you to get better. So be the change you want to create. Now go get motivated.